I'm not saying that we are absolutely the reason that we're 4-1 since the last game of the Yankees season, but I'm also saying it's hard to come to any other conclusion.
That's what the data indicates. There's no way around it. There's no.
Yeah, I got with some advanced metrics guy, and our expected WOBA shows that. Anyway, welcome back.
Yep.
Episode 2, Season 2.
Yep.
That's right. This is the 24 Curveballs podcast. Aaron, Jason, Kevin, and we're glad you're with you, especially today, guys. It is Dubon Day.
Doobie Day.
Doobie Day to those who celebrate.
And you should all celebrate. We got rid of one Michael Papierski, pour some out for the former Tiger LSU alum. In exchange, we picked up one Mauricio Dubon.
I was saying,
I think that worked out well.
Yeah, I was saying to someone on Twitter, like, you go back to, you can go back as far as you want to go back to, like, Billy Spire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Astros, the thing that we do best is, like, utility studs, right? Like, Marwin, Aledmus Diaz, Dubon. My take
Even before that, you can go back to guys like Dickie Thon, who was kind of that fifth infielder guy. And I'll say, this may have been where you were going, so I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't know that anybody's done it as well as Doobie.
Yeah, I think so.
His numbers since coming over, since the trade, he's 263, 88 weighted runs created plus, 2.1 WAR. I'd say that worked out pretty good.
Yeah, they created an award for him, right? Like, he's the utility Gold Glove. Like, wasn't that the inaugural? What
I love is that my dude bought a Gold Glove for every position glove.
Yeah.
Yeah, not only that, but if you just watch baseball with the eye test, when Doobie's on the field, stuff happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays the game with heart and hustle, and those things matter. It's little things like just getting down the line and making plays close. Even things like, and we'll get into Bregman in a little bit, but early in the season, he was like the anti-Bregman, where Bregman's like, I'm going to find the most crushing way to make an out. Like Doobie, at least if he gets out, it was productive out, so we're moving runners over. So I would say I didn't get the trade when we made it, right? Because we had just traded away Miles Straw, right? So I was like, why did we trade away Miles Straw and pick up this slap-hitting center fielder from the Giants?
So was that a James Click that did that? Because one of the things, and I could go back and find it, but I read somewhere that, like, he felt neglected and overlooked in San Francisco, and so he felt like he had more to contribute. And obviously, you see what it is. The guy's got defensive chops everywhere that you put him, right? And so something, and that, that's a bigger conversation, right? But with James Click being able to find guys like Dubon, Aledmus Diaz in Toronto, and bring those guys in that can make a contribution, right? Like, Dubon has been like last year. Remember at the beginning last year where
we thought we were sunk when Altuve went down.
Yep. And he single-handedly, he didn't just, he was the best player on our team for a couple weeks.
We thought David Hensley was the answer at second base.
Yeah.
And
that's perspective.
God, have you heard from David Hensley since?
Yeah, right.
And seriously, toward the end when we knew Altuve was on his way back, it was really oh my gosh, what are we going to do with Doobie?
Where are you going to put him? Yeah, you're right. They started. Did you see him today? They've been getting him some looks at first base. I guess that's just you're expecting the inevitable with John Singleton as regression to the means, but maybe not. Maybe John Singleton's a new man.
It's the first time that Singleton's got to play every day, right? And there's something to that, man. You just get in a groove, and so you need to have your first baseman, and it needs to not ever be Jose Abreu. So there's nothing wrong with having Dubon over there. One of the greatest impacts for me is I want him to be the Yordan whisperer, right? Like just continue
right.
to keep
just play
Yordan
dominoes with the big fella.
Yeah, right. Like make him happy, and we'll be good because we need that.
You guys want to talk about? You want to talk about Breggs next or Julia?
You know what? Let's go with Julia, man. Wait, that was a great called game.
She did a fantastic job, and I think lost in the fact that we love Julia for myriad reasons. Not the least of which she's very good at what she does. So I think we lost the historical perspective. First time ever that both teams had a female play-by-play announcer.
That's wild.
And I really did.
It's pretty cool.
Here, this was
had some plays. She's had some very atypical plays like Pena scoring from first on the air,
Oh my gosh.
and
I think Kevin
um,
texted, "What in the bad news
Yeah,
bears was that?"
I remember that.
So let's play. I have audio from her first home run call because I thought it was great. So I'm gonna play this
Yeah,
for you
yeah,
guys.
oh, the
Yeah,
audio and
here we
video
go.
for that was amazing.
Still updating my scorecard corner. Bregman drives this one, and you can say bye to that baseball, y'all.
What I love is the video of her spiking her pin.
Like it is so like I just cheered. And the second one she's got great lines.
Well,
She
we've got the
clearly
second one
knows
too.
Alex Bregman. Welcome to the party. Hanging slider smashed. That'll make it go wild.
And then the second one.
It was
That had to
awesome
feel good
to
for
hear.
Alex Bregman. Hits this one hard. Get up, ball.
Get up,
That's 2 for 2.
oh, that's so classic.
Such a good call. Here's what
love
I
it.
loved, right? Because it would have been easy for, I think TK is has been a good broadcaster. He's had to struggle filling space this year while we suck. But
Right.
did you catch his tribute in the ninth inning?
Absolutely. It was
I thought this was class.
Julia, you killed it tonight. You absolutely killed it. I am so happy for you that you had this opportunity. The thing that I thought of, though, when you were doing your pregame picks with Val and Jenny's little one, is when those girls are in middle school or high school, this is going to be commonplace, right? Everybody's going to see women doing broadcasts for both sides. But the fact that they can say, our moms did the very first telecast with 2 women doing play-by-play on TV.
Oh, wow.
Love it for you.
Thank
You
you.
killed it. I am so happy for you and so proud of you.
way to
All
go,
class,
TK.
all class by TK.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Credit.
you know
I
what?
need to
You
credit
don't expect
Space
anything else from
City
people.
Home Network for the audio
Oh,
on
yeah.
that one. So thanks. I'm probably gonna get sued, and our podcast is gonna get taken down. But it was worth it.
Heck no. You know,
Hey, you know what? Go ahead.
my thing is, I've got 2 daughters, and so I've started to think about representation, and about this game that I just adore, right? Like that has shaped and influenced my life. And my oldest daughter played softball for a while, which is great.
Yep.
Softball is it's a different game, right? And so for her to be able to sit there and see that done well, right? To see Juliet done well. And
what was significant to me was in softball, we were just talking before we went on air, I enjoy watching the college softball World Series. Still, you have predominantly male announcers.
Yep.
And
Wow, right?
men have infiltrated softball. Men play softball. I had the same thought too with my oldest daughter, and I know Kevin's #GirlDad. And, there's just becoming fewer and fewer things in the world that girls can't do, and I think
How about that, right?
I think that's
Yeah,
good.
I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
she
I
did
just
a
thought
great
it was
job.
good for the Astros to do it, to let her do it. But I also thought she did a really, really, really solid job.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did it very well.
It's hard to keep going, to always have something to say. You got to stop mid conversation and call it, and especially balls flying around the field, guys chasing everything, right? Like, yeah, it's a lot.
And working the analyst in a way that feels natural and conversational, and
Yep.
I thought she did it all.
Yeah.
Hey, last week we were, and I'm not going on an apology tour. We were, I would say, appropriately hard on one Alexander Bregman. He has since figured something out. Even before the 2 home runs last night, I looked it up. Okay. I want to get ahead of it. Super small sample size, right? So we're talking 5 games. I need to see it a lot more. But even the way, so I looked at, there's some things. So he's 8 for 20 since May 9th. That's 400. 2 bombs, 2 doubles, 6 RBI, but only 1 grounded into double play and only 3 strikeouts. Those numbers to me,
those are the 2 important numbers.
Yep. He's still popping the ball up a lot, but results.
Pop-ups are like, I saw a thing today, little stance adjustments. he was leaning back or something. Side note, did you notice the post game interview yesterday when they asked him, "What'd you figure out on Girl Day?" Right? What did he do? He thanked his wife Reagan for letting him sleep in so he could get it. I thought that was cool, but
I'm not sure that letting him sleep in was her only contribution at the end of a long road trip.
Right. So here's my question for that. Right? Like, okay, so it's May 13th, Bregman gets it crushed, right? They were saying there's a deal. Part of the reason he was it looked like he was leaning back, his center of gravity was off, he wasn't whatever. My thing is, we pay a professional freaking hitting coach to fix those things, to catch those things, not to wait. So I got to send the guy to freaking Florida to get fixed? Or
we pay two. We have two major league hitting coaches.
Yeah, right. So, Jeremy Pena mired in mediocrity last year. Now, thank God that he got it figured out this year, obviously, but can we make some in-season adjustments, especially when it's apparently something as simple as posture and balance shiftment? Like, how are we not on that? How do we not just...
Well, especially when it's something like, back in the day when it was VHS tapes, they used to take tape on the screen.
Yeah.
So they think, I mean...
Yeah.
If you got to get an old school TV and put some tape on the screen,
figure it out.
And to your point, listen. This was Brian McTaggart talked with Bregman. Listen to Bregman's thoughts on yesterday.
Felt good today. This morning, actually didn't feel so good this morning, and worked through a lot of things and some different cues and thoughts, and ended up going back to Old Faithful, just not past the ball, and kind of clicked and felt good in BP today, and hopefully continue it into tomorrow.
The implication is he had to go and find his own swing thought. Like, he had to work back through that, and something as simple. And I had written down, it's everything you just said, Jason. It's knob pass to the baseball. So what he's saying, if you're not a hitter, is he's saying keep your barrel back, which means keep your weight back, keep your, stay closed through the hitting zone and then explode through, which is everything you just said. He looked like he was out in front. He looked like he was off balance. But the fact that he has to go up early at 11 o'clock in the morning on his first day back on his own and figure that out is troubling.
Nobody in the Astros organization was able to.
I think Centrone and Snitker were two of the names we called for last week.
Yeah. Now, again, I don't want to. You can always find you can find bad umpire calls. Like, ultimately, we got to hit and we got to figure it out.
Yep.
But we do pay. It's like. My deal last year was, my question was for the trainer, like, hey, Jeremiah Randall, why is everybody's soft tissue decomposing, at an alarming rate? And the deal is there's got to be accountability. People are talking about Espada. Well, and same goes for Josh Miller. Like, figure it out.
100%.
Or let's find someone else. Let's find someone who can.
Is Josh Miller what a regular pitching coach is, and we were just spoiled by Strom? Or do you think Josh Miller is just a below average?
I don't think it has to be one or the other. I think we went from above average to below average. I don't think it's either or. I think it's and.
That's a good point. If you listen to the rest of that Bregman clip, they asked him about the patience from his teammates, and he actually got kind of emotional.
Really?
You get this sense, and I think we all suspect this, and again, I don't, on some level, for $20 million a year, I don't care. But I think that he was wearing it. I think that he really was.
Yeah, that was remember Rudy J, local talk show?
Yep.
Rudy J was the one who coined the term for me, figure it out money. They were talking about Dak, right? And are they going to extend Dak for $40 million? And Rudy J's deal was like, $40 million is figure it out money. That means when I pay you $40 million a year, don't talk to me about the running back. Figure it out. Yeah, don't tell me you don't have weapons. Figure it out. And so I adore, I love Bregman. I love Bregman. Dude, what we're paying you, who we are right now, you got to figure it out. And here's the deal. Mm-hmm. It's May 15th, and he, in a very simple, small sample size, he appears to. So tear it up, bro.
If he can hit between 270 and 300 the rest of the year and have just a little bit of pop, our whole lineup is different.
Well, and I mean, he doesn't even have to have a ton of pop. He plays in Houston. I mean, if he could just
next man up,
yeah.
You just have to not be able to be pitched around, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Be the automatic.
And you can't, especially in the places in the lineup he's going to hit. He's going to hit above 6.
Yeah, which is, I mean, he is, but
I'm not going to fight that.
Whether he deserved it or not at times, whatever.
I think, but yeah, doesn't make a damn bit of sense to me.
Right.
Here's a nugget for me. I've wondered. My question is, are the Astros big time, right? Are they now making commercials and Breggy salsa and LMJ coffee and all that to the point where baseball is
secondary?
Secondary. And if that's the case, I don't think that you patiently wait through stuff like that, right? Because it costs everybody, right? And if your heart's not in that, I don't imagine Manny Machado being a super patient clubhouse dude, detached or whatever, but selfish dudes are selfish. You're not.
And let's address this. I mean, it's a staggering percentage of pro athletes go broke real quick after they're done playing. Some of them before they're done playing, whatever. And so I get you need other things going on, but baseball's what got you to those other things, and you need to ride baseball as hard as you can as long as your body will let you play it.
I don't begrudge a guy a side hustle. Get yours, man. But yeah,
not as
to your
long
point,
as it doesn't come at the cost of something else.
Agreed. Yeah, if I'm paying $100 a seat to come watch you do your thing, be ready. Be ready.
Yeah.
Again, it comes back to it. It's Jason's point. Figure it out.
Yeah. Sign my bottle of salsa.
You know what kills me is people on Twitter, dude, when they're like, are you saying that you could hit a pitch? No, but that's why I'm not a big leaguer. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I am saying I would be willing to bet a little bit of my own money that I could bat at least what Brady was batting.
Kevin, can I ask you an honest Twitter question?
Kevin, that's a ridiculous thing.
Are you the guy behind SFA has never lost to Duke in men's basketball?
I am not.
That dude has a swollen one for Jake Myers.
San Antonio. Bro. Hard.
Okay.
A lot.
You guys need to start a fan club.
I actually have to admit I have avoided Twitter all but for about 8 days so far.
You're not worse off for it. I'll tell you that.
Twitter is dumb. It's just dumb and it's bad.
There's an interesting, that was the Jake thing. So I kind of stumbled into something that I misread, right? Like, there was the conversation that I kind of stumbled into was about Jake and Dubon. And my sense was like, at the time, I'm like, Doobie needs to be in the lineup every day. And so, but apparently the conversation was there's a contingent of people that are hardcore on the DFA Jake thing. And I am also not that. I think Jake is a valuable 4th or 5th outfielder, right? Like, and he's good trade bait at this point. But it can be both. But the whole why do Astros fans love mediocre baseball players? And I think
because it's all we got for so long. It's like our brand.
There's something to that. It's guys who aren't very good but try hard.
Yeah. I'm Team Jake. I'm just not Team Jake is an all-star. I'm not like Team Jake. I want him to win because he's on us.
So one of the questions I wrote down to ask was, here's where I'm at. I think Jake is, I want to choose my words carefully, plus, he's not elite. He's plus range in the outfield. Like, he can go get it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I think he's a plus stick. I actually think as he has figured himself out and gotten comfortable this year, I think he's at or above or beyond what Chaz brings to the table. Is
he
that
run
enough
the ball
that
back in?
Right. I was going to ask, is that enough that we give him a pass on his arm?
I think he would struggle throwing from second to first.
Yeah.
Why not put him, and this is a bigger question than I have later on, but why not put him in left field, right? In our yard, I know you need your biggest arm in right field. We've got that. That's where Tucker is. Our center field is an absolute cave. left field is a short porch. Why not? Why would you
Because
He
not
should be
put?
playing. He should be playing left at home.
You said Jason because of the range.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a
Yeah.
cavern, right? So he can run and go get it. But that's where, like, so this is
So
where
do you?
little things like I feel like, and okay, so this is hot. Okay, hot take, right? There's been some mismanagement of Jordan, like he's serviceable out there. But if Jordan didn't need to play left field, a lot of our outfield questions get easier. I do think if we can, as some of our pitching stuff gets leveled out, like let's go get a center fielder. Like when the Yankees went and got Juan Soto that allowed Aaron Judge to play center, there's something about that where I go, look, go get, and I don't even know who it would be, but go get a freaking real deal legitimate center fielder. Or maybe that's Pedro Leon, or maybe that's one of these younger guys. But let's do that. And then you have a conversation about, because if Jake's the everyday center left fielder, maybe so, because you don't notice the arm thing. But yeah, people are tagging on Jake from center.
That is one of the things I was gonna.
The Twitter profile that you mentioned, and
Dude loves Jake.
this is not me. This guy, I think Jake should check under his car and in his back seat before he drives home.
I was gonna ask how you handle the crowded outfield because we've got one.
And the minor league, we're crowded all the way down.
Here's one thing, and Aaron, you and I have talked about this, like with Jake at the beginning of the year, and they announced we're not going to get a center fielder. Jake's our guy, and then he played in half the games. I mean, it was no different than the year before. Like you said with Singleton, there is something to the rhythm, and I think there's something in his head if he doesn't know he's going to be playing where he doesn't play as well.
Yeah. I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at Pedro Leon's stats, and I know some of what they're wanting him to look on. He's through 35 games. He's hitting 292, 6 bombs. Last year he struck out 160 times in 128 games. Whiff rate has been an issue. This year he's 38 strikeouts in 35 games.
So here's the thing though. This is crazy, not crazy. Mauricio Dubon needs to not be our fourth outfielder anymore. It needs to be Joey Loperfido, or we need to send him down, right? Don't bring that guy up and park him, right? Like if he's an outfielder, so let's see if he's an outfielder and let's see what his productivity is going to be. And I think that's where I think it's a left-right Jake and Joey platoon system. And if you take, the problem is if you take Dubon out, then that means more days that he's not in the lineup.
Well, this comes into a bigger question that I was going to ask next is, in the last week since we were last recorded, is Espada moving the needle for you at all? And I specifically referenced how he's handling Joey Loperfido. Like, are you seeing improvement?
Not from Espada, not in my opinion.
Yeah, it's hard. Like they got hot, but they got hot on a game that had Kyle Tucker batting leadoff and Yainer not playing. Like it was like Altuve's right. Like it was an anomaly kind of offense. Which you say, hey, he showed up. Here's the deal. I hold him accountable for things. You got to give him credit for things. My sense is, and again, like for me, the ultimate question comes down to durability of like contract. Are they going to stay around? And I'm starting with the lower guys first. And I'm going to say, okay, if he's the manager. So my deal is like, yeah, fire Snitker, fire Josh Miller, and let's see what goes. But it could be a quick succession. So no, I'm still not super impressed with Espada, but
I thought the way he handled Christian Javier in Detroit was criminal.
Yes, that's
That's the prime example. I mean, that's a perfect example of everywhere where he messes up.
Did he make the decision? Where that's what I want to know. Truthfully, in our organization, who determines rehab starts? Who determines? Because that was the thing that
I'm sure that was Dana, but dude, I saw it in the first inning. I texted you like second. He gets the first quick out and then he puts on 2 guys. I texted you guys right away and I was like, Javier's not right. Yeah, and we let him go 2.5 more innings.
You know what I think the deal was? I think this was a rehab start. He kept throwing that changeup that was terrible.
Yeah, you don't rehab against a big league team.
That's what I'm saying. Like that. So that is. I'm glad you brought that up. Never mind. That's a criminal because that's the only thing it could be, right? Like, well, no, we're just going to let him get his rehab start. Okay, well, they got up by 2 runs. We're just going to go let him finish it out. Dude, we can't afford to lose baseball games right now. We can't afford to give games to the freaking Tigers while we're letting Christian Javier throw changeups. He can throw changeups in Sugarland. Yeah, that was terrible. Yeah. Well, yeah, Espada's culpable. Unless Dana said he throws 50 pitches.
Yeah, unless Dana's in the dugout with his hand in your chest, holding you in your place at some point. Get him.
I'm glad you said in your chest because I was thinking, working him like a ventriloquist puppet.
So Ronel goes tonight. It's Ronel night.
I know.
What?
I know.
What an incredible gift that man has been.
I'm gonna actually, when we get done, I'm ordering some Blanco queso and having a Ronel Blanco night.
Man.
So he is this year. He's 4-0 with a 2.23, 41 strikeouts in 44 innings. He's got a WHIP just over 1, and he has a WAR of 1.9. For a guy who wasn't even on our radar coming into the season, that's spectacular.
It just looks like, so for me, the things like last year, JP France showed up and filled a spot and did all that. It looks different than JP France, man. It's not.
I think the thing that a casual fan won't know, if you've never pitched, again, we said the same thing last week. If you never played baseball above, beyond a certain level, this won't make sense to you. But the story is that Ronel Blanco in the offseason was just like, I think I need a changeup.
Yeah.
And so he taught himself a changeup, and then it became his out pitch. And I'm like, this dude took 3 months and developed an elite changeup.
Yeah,
and it's coming, and he's owning you with it.
That is what it means when it says, what's not romantic about baseball, right?
That is also what it means when it says, built different.
Built different? Yeah, bro. Like so you just went in 4 months, learned to pick up a major league pitch?
You remember, Jason, we had a really good friend, and his brother played pro ball, and was started for the Blue Jays, started for the Giants, played for the Yankees for a couple years, was a legitimate major leaguer, but not an all-star. Mm-hmm. Just being around Josh, I remember sitting down, we were at a Super Bowl party, and I knew going into it, Brian, his brother, had told me, Josh is like, whatever it was, like 6'3", 225. And at the time, that's what I was. Well, he walked into the room, and I was like, oh, not all pounds are the same. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a very different. Pro athletes are just, they're different.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it looked.
Yeah.
Espada is not, to answer my own question, Espada is not moving the needle for me. I just,
no.
It's a bad
not
hire.
not the right way either. And I stand by what I said about, like, if someone's got to go, it needs to be, my take would be Josh Miller, because that's where our problem is. Start with that. But for me, like, Espada should not presume upon a second season.
No.
No.
He was cagey today. He would not commit to when Verlander would next throw, and it was unsettling.
Yeah, is that a
5-man, 6-man, holding the cards close to his vest?
Yeah. After I stopped cussing, I said, like, I maybe it's a 5 or 6 man, but I'm just like, who? It needs to not ever be Hunter Brown. That is not ever. Hey, who's going to throw the first inning for the Astros? Not ever Hunter Brown.
Did you see my guy out of relief?
Yeah,
Hunter Brown should be out of the bullpen.
Yeah,
or he should be throwing the ceremonial first pitch.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Sure,
dude. That's was it the Mother's Day game that he came in? No, he came in for Javier. Yes, it was Mother's Day. Yeah, bro, he was electric. He looked amazing out of the bullpen.
And that's where he needs to come from.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. Verlander said prior to the Detroit start, he said that he actually felt pretty good physically. What I loved about the quote is he was very Verlander about it. But what he essentially said was, I was good in my first few starts because we played shit teams. And a good team like the Yankees will teach you some things about yourself. And so I was like, well, that's very Verlander of him.
That's a 40-year-old guy quote. That's a 40-year-old quote. That's not a rookie quote.
Hey, little bit of historical perspective. Like, Justin Verlander could be the last 300-game winner ever. Like, I think he is.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I think he is 40-some wins away. And so he, like if he gets 6 or 8 this year, he'd have to win 10 or 12 over a couple of years. Like, he needs a couple of years, but that's a record I think that's going away. Just the way that the game's built nowadays.
He's also about to be like number 9 in strikeouts.
Yeah.
And I feel like the top 10 in strikeouts is just about set in stone too. I just don't think guys are going to get the innings.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not going to be the opportunities, that's for sure.
He passed Scherzer. You know he loves that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I love it for him.
Couldn't happen to a nicer bloke.
Oh, absolutely. So what do you think about the bullpen has had a bit of a resurgence? The back end especially.
Well, they couldn't have.
That is true.
They couldn't have done worse.
That is true. Presley loves base runners, doesn't he? Like, he's allergic to clean innings.
Yeah.
If I don't face at least 4 guys, I didn't get my money's worth.
Yeah.
Right. It's like there's a quota. There's something in his contract.
Or an incentive, a batter's face.
It's gotta be right.
Hey, wait, does he know Shohei's interpreter?
Oh, maybe they're
hell. Yeah, I am. I think it's got to be mental, right? Like, I know, like, you look at Brian Abreu, 6 straight high gas, just blow you out of the water, and then walk 2 in a row, right? But you know that he's got a little. It strikes me odd that Presley's that guy, but
I'm still like guy who's been bit by a dog. Like, I'm a little like last night. I was actually relieved that we kept the ball out of haters' hands.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want to be. I want to go back to what Jason was saying about Verlander being maybe the last 300-game winner, because he's at 259. Scherzer's at 214, and Kershaw's at 210, and then it drops to 145.
Yeah, nobody.
So the group that we're looking at now will not make it there.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the opener has affected that, but I just think it's not uncommon for guys to not go 5 innings, which is ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if baseball expands, that's going to get worse, which they are. They're going to add teams.
Oh, of course they will.
Dude, they need to if they're gonna expand. We can get into this in another episode because we're already over 30 minutes. But if they're gonna expand, they gotta add some teams in the middle of the country and get us out of the West.
Yeah, man.
Last thing I've got, and then whatever you guys got. I don't have to always drive this thing, but
you're doing a great job, man.
Man, the Victor Caratini signing was something special.
I think it remains the significant signing of the offseason.
It didn't even register when we did it. I was like, weird, but okay.
Yeah, I am. It was. Yeah, it was. Yiner is younger than I thought he appeared last year.
Sophomore slump is a little bit of a thing.
Yeah, and
I can see that.
He just has some catcher mechanical things that are rough, right? And for all of the jokes about intangibles with Maldi, every pitcher on our staff wanted to throw to Maldi. Some of them they would tweak out, but they wanted to, right? And so you start to see there's a reason for that. You'll notice Caratini has caught Framber the last couple times, right?
Yeah.
Let it happen, right?
Which
Let the old guy catch the head cases.
Right. That's what I was going to say. And it says a lot about his makeup too, because Framber is a fragile flower. He is.
Yeah. That's good.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That was like TK's biggest takeaway from being Julia last night. He's like, "How do you manage Framber?" Like, I thought I gave him his peanuts, but it doesn't.
Did you see the look on his face as he was talking? He's like, "I've got all these peanuts, but what do I do?"
Dude, and they were killing TK about his dirty camera. Did y'all see that?
Oh my god! I said that online. I was like, somebody's got to help TK clean his lens.
Yeah,
what
man.
What is happening?
That is blurry, bro. I saw one today. Someone that said they put that picture up, and then they said, "I'm going to tell my kids this was the first picture ever taken."
Is there for TK? Is there a more like boomer thing for him to have done than to take that picture?
He took that picture with a 3-month-old cell phone that could have more technology than the space shuttle.
The only thing would have made it better is if at some point he would have FaceTimed the booth and been like, all like really close to his face and stuff like, yeah, right, yeah, yeah. Which I would have been totally here for.
Yeah.
Last week we said we needed our hope metric was somewhere 7-3, 8-2, so we're off to 4-1. I think it's a great start, but I think we got to stay there. We really need Urquidy to be healthy just to come back and be an innings eater. That's the next big one.
Mixing those guys back. We got to start seeing some. I'm going to be honest. Like I wouldn't bet $1 that Lance McCullers Jr. ever throws an inning for us again. I do. I think Urquidy and Luis Garcia.
But Jason, man, that coffee is so motivating.
Yeah, I know. It still makes me mad.
That's great. Mr. Glass, and here's the deal, dude. We named our freaking podcast after him, right? Like clearly he is a legend, and
me in the H, baby.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. And I want to be wrong. I feel sacrilegious, man, even saying about it. But I
want Mike Napoli LMJ back. That's the LMJ I want.
Yes. Yes. But dude, what do you have? 8 outings? Did he throw 8 innings or something like that? When he came back. Every single one of them, I was like, that dude's on Adderall. Like, somebody needs to mix in a Quaalude for that guy. Yeah, man. Dude, be under control. That's my thing, dude. And that's what Ronel has. He's got that El Reptil, Christian Javier. He doesn't sweat, right? Like, he's cool as the other side of the pillow, and LMJ does not have that.
Well, I've also heard from the other side, Jose Urquidy goes through about 3 jerseys a game.
Yes, sweats, but it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that is also, in case you missed it, that is the 24 Curveballs podcast sponsored by Quaaludes.
Quaaludes with a bump.
I hope kids are watching with their parents. Daddy, what's a Quaalude?
Ask your mother.
Yeah, well, we've got 3 more with the A's. I am of the opinion, you do not split this series. You got to go 3-1, but really you need to sweep this series and make a statement. The Brewers is going to be good baseball. They're first place in the Central. And then I'm totally blanking on who we get out of that, but it's winnable games on the backside of that as well. The Angels. Yeah. So
it's all winnable. I mean, the Brewers will be interesting, but the rest we should win. But
I feel like you've got to taking it, not including our 4-1 that we're currently on. I think if you include those 10 games, the 10-game homestand, I really think you need to go 8-2 or better on that homestand, or you've failed.
Sure.
Okay, so here's the deal. Like looking at this, okay, so let's say Breggy's back, right? Like really back, right? Like 280 clip, 260, 280 clip, and he comes back. Where is the hole? Like my sense is offensively, this could be, it's not as it right now performing. This could be a 2019 caliber offense. Like I think this has the potential to win a lot of games. I have no hope in our pitching. And so I think we should score enough runs to beat all of those teams, but we could lose 9-8.
Well, and we're doing this right now we're not getting a ton out of Jordan even yet.
True. No. Yeah. I know.
They just did one of those overlays where it's like, they line up two videos on top of one another of Ronel's fastball and his changeup. Sweet Jesus. It makes his fastball look like a rise ball. It was.
Yeah. I was watching that. That was impressive.
Yeah, that's dirty. Dirty.
I don't understand how anybody ever hits a pitched baseball ever.
Here's this is a legitimate question, and Jason, you pitched. If I had this fight with my son because he developed a really filthy changeup and then decided he wanted to throw a split finger and a slider. With all of the stress on elbows, if you have big enough hands to throw an effective changeup, why would you not be a fastball changeup guy primarily? It's such a dirty pitch when thrown.
Yeah, even that. Well, split now is a split change. It's not what Mike Scott threw, right? Like I think like the fork ball. I don't know that it's around much.
Yeah, I think the closest thing to that was the pitch that Stanek threw.
I'm sorry. Can we have a minute for Mike Scott? That got me all excited. Mike Scott was my guy.
Do you need to turn your camera off for a moment?
Mike Scott was my guy. Jason knows.
Dude.
I had multiple posters.
I forgot that dude was a Met.
Before he came to us, yeah, he developed his split finger here. Toro.
Roger Craig from the Giants taught it to him.
Yeah. Abraham Toro just singled. We trade a dude away, and that dude is going to have a career against us.
Yeah. I don't know if we ever send anybody in. Yeah, dude. Trading Ryan Stanek to see it. We didn't trade him. Yes, if they're going to play us in meaningful games, they're going to destroy us.
You remember when Bob Nepper went to the Giants, Jason, in the 88, and then did nothing but own us for the rest of his career?
Yep.
Anyway, that's fun times.
Something called Martinez.
You guys got anything you want to add?
Jeremy Pena is
special.
You know what? I do have to add that because I said in the last episode that Pena's numbers look good, but he hasn't done anything with them. It's being the best player on a bad team kind of thing. And you pointed out, Aaron, that it was where he was hitting. He was, he was hitting in bad spots, and as he's moved up the lineup, you're completely right. It's now he has base runners ahead of him.
He got better in the cleanup hole
to produce.
He's a legitimate cleanup hitter. He's not Pete Alonso cleanup hitter, but he's a legitimate cleanup hitter. Don't move him.
He gets a lot of love for slowing down his hands, which is right, but he's also not chasing that slider away, which that has been his poison. If he can lay off of that pitch.
Yeah, the ability to hit and lay off of that pitch changes everything. Because now you're going to have to throw him fastballs sometime.
Ronel Blanco just struck out a major league hitter with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball tit high.
Who did that?
Ronel Blanco. How? It's that changeup. You throw that changeup down, and then you come in with that heater up. But anyway.
Well, yeah, because his changeup and his fastball, the elevation is so different, and the speed is so different, and the motion is exactly the same.
Well, next week we're going to be really excited because this podcast has breathed new life into our favorite teams, and we're single-handedly responsible for their success. Yeah. Or we'll be back to being a bunch of crusty, angry, bitter old men with nothing but bad things to say about these youngsters.
They're both going to be true. They
are who they are. We are who we are. Hey, you guys are listening to the 24 Curveballs podcast, available wherever you find podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. But most, we want to drive you to the YouTube channel. Just search at 24, the numbers 24 Curveballs. While you're there, like it, share it. It helps us out, costs you nothing. And so it'd mean a lot to us. This is my favorite hour of the week, boys. Thanks for making time.
Me too. Looking forward to it.
All right. We'll see you guys next week, Astros fans.